What is up, everybody? Welcome to the feast. What episode are we on now? 61? I think it's 61. Thanks for the raid, Miss Clicker. I appreciate it, man. Let me get my stuff together here. Alright, we can close that. We can do that. Okay. What's up, everybody? How's it going? What song was that? This is by the Presidents of the United States, I think. I don't know, man. I'm delirious, to be honest. I had a ridiculous idea. I was like, I'm just going to start playing cheesy music from the 80s and 90s during the intro. Just for fun. I'm going to clip off the intro anyways before I upload it to YouTube, so it's like, why not, man? If you show up early to the show, get a little bit of DJ Delthius. What's going on, everybody? I need my controller. Dude, I am so tired. I started my new job as a design engineer on Monday, and I've been working long days. And I just get home and I'm just like so mentally exhausted, man. I've de-evolved down to like laying in bed, playing phone games and stuff. It's actually not too bad. I found a couple, watching cartoons and whatnot. Let me make sure everything's good on my side. Appreciate the submissions, everybody. I think Protocam, you sent me some desynced replays, my man, which is a shame because you sent a whole bunch. But yeah, we got a couple new names on the list tonight. I'm always excited about that. And let me actually do this real quick. But yeah, it's like I actually have to think at this job, like not underplaying my old job. I mean, I went from 8 hours to like 10 and a half, 11. So there's that, but I mean, this is I'm just like thinking pretty hard the entire time I'm there. I actually have to like do real engineering now. But it's cool, man. I'm glad to be doing it. I'm trying to fight exhaustion when I get home. Like yesterday, I forced myself to play StarCraft for an hour just to be like, no, you can't totally turn your brain off yet. So I'm excited, man. You might have a little bit of delirious Delthius tonight, which is fine because I hear I'm funny when I'm tired. But yeah, no, I'm doing good. Had a lot of fun playing Tooth and Tail over the weekend, man. I think the free weekend was a huge success. We had a ton of people on, simultaneous players, and I think a lot of people probably bought the game while it was on sale, and we'll have a lot of new faces sticking around with us. So without any further ado, guys, I think I got everybody on. Amisha had submitted like right at last minute, but I figured, what the hell, I can go one more. Why not? But yeah. Yes, indeed. So let's hop into it, guys. Match number 1. Man, my cat is freaking out. I hope you guys don't hear her complaining. But anyways, guys, in the bottom right, we've got Vincent. And his opponent to the top left, Bratmo. I forgot about this casting mode that Andy implemented, man. This is so cool. I don't need... you guys can actually see what time it is in the games now. There's not those little buttons on the screen. Really cool. And this night map is pretty interesting. You don't see this come up too often. I think, I could be wrong, but I think in the latest patch there was a little footnote about a minor change to the map RNG where, different terrains and stuff like this will hop up more often. So let's see what these players decide to do in this game. Vincent trolling us a little bit here. He's got all the tier 3 you can possibly imagine. I wonder what he's going to go for first. Probably the Fox, right? Fox would make the most sense, I feel like, for the first tier 3 that you get out. But I was noticing, if you guys caught me doing some rank stream, like trying to run Badger Fox like sounds good in theory, but both those units are pretty micro intensive. So I don't know if we're actually going to get that far, but I don't think Vincent is being super try hard here, guys. I think that I think that he's just having fun, so it's all good. Hey, Mishra in the chat. Yeah, no worries. We don't have to rewind in the... Oh, we don't have rewind in the replays yet, do we? No, we don't. I should bug Andy about that. Because that would be a really cool feature. Because half the time... of course, it always happens, right when I look over on the chat and, like, zone out for, like, 5 seconds. Something amazing happens in the match and I miss it. But so far, nothing crazy here. The biggest thing to note is that Bratmo went for this fast campfire. Now, it's going to get scouted by Vincent relatively quickly. So I'm interested to see how Vincent wants to respond to this. This is a big deal, guys. If you are a new player, campfires are incredibly important on one base economies. Looks like Vincent's just going to go ahead and throw down that boar and go for a timing attack. I really like Vincent's decision, too, to put his Warrens up here on the high ground and kind of prevent Bratmo from being able to abuse that as easily. Because if Vincent didn't do that, it could be pretty brutal for him if Bratmo went for a quick, one base push with a bunch of squirrels up here on this high ground. Now, Vincent sells off one of those squirrel warrens, which I actually like. He kind of senses that he's not under pressure, but I don't know if that's the right read, to be honest, as Bratmo seems to be gearing up for a relatively quick tier 2 push out. But Vincent wants to get the Badger Boar going, and man, I've casted a lot of Tooth and Tail, and I don't think I've ever seen Badger Boar, so really looking forward to this. Oh yeah, now I have to set the screen brightness up when I play TnT because of the night maps. Yeah, I could see that a little bit. But it's not super overbearing. Even sells off that other tier 1. Now he just decides maybe he's not so afraid of this push up here on the high ground. And go ahead and get all of his Warrens nice and neat next to his farms, or it'd be a little easier to defend. But look at that. Actually, that's a nice sell from Vincent. Just make sure not to supply block his boar and badger from beginning production right when they can. But I'm a little worried for Bratmo here, man. I like what he's doing, but I'm not sure if he's going to get away with it as Bratmo is going to be moving out here shortly. But maybe he's not. It looks like Bratmo might just be stretching out on the map a little bit, trying to get a second base. And if this is the case, then Vincent's in, I feel like, pretty good shape. He doesn't really have an economy at this point. He's got no presence out on the map. As you see, Bratmo set up pretty nice and neat at this point. Maybe Vincent could try to come in through this way, but that would be difficult as he can kind of get pincered in from the reinforcements of Bratmo plus his main army. And Bratmo's kind of got himself set up where Vincent, really the attack angle that Vincent wants to do is right up here. And these two turrets on this high ground are totally awesome there. So let's see. Actually, Vincent hasn't scouted this second base yet, and he's moving out. Look at this. Vincent throws down the entire cavalcade of tier 3. Now Vincent is aware of what is happening. Vincent did grab this campfire over in the southwest so to give his economy a bit of a boost, but Bratmo's pretty far ahead at this point. I mean, what's Vincent's plan here? Is he just waiting to have one of each and then moving out? I mean, he's got the boar badger. Now, the badger's not super powerful without the pigeons, but it's still nothing to scoff at, especially when the owl gets out. Gives them some nice, mice up front to tank for the badger, and then also the wolf on the way. Gonna buff that badger up. So this is pretty crazy, man. One thing that's pretty interesting about this new casting mode too is that I no longer get to see how long the games are, right? And I've always tried to not let that influence my casting too much. I mean, obviously it does a little bit. When the game's about to end, I can be like, I don't know if he's gonna hold here, but I really do try to keep that to a minimum regardless. And let's see, Bratmo getting that wolf. Vincent gets a scout though, and Bratmo really hasn't scouted at all here. Bratmo has no idea what Vincent is up to. A little bit of a mistake from Bratmo, if I want to be very picky. As scouting is absolutely enormous in Tooth and Tail. You really have to understand what your opponent is going for to be able to correctly respond to it. Look at this beefed up fox, ready to make some bacon here. Moving in, gonna get a couple pigs, just one for now. That high ground is actually pretty rough for Vincent, but this owl here should help him. And let's see it, man. I believe this is so cool because it's like this standard bread and butter army from Bratmo. Lots of tier 1 here from Bratmo. I don't know how well that's gonna fare against the boar. We're about to find out as Vincent moves in for the big engagement. So far, he manages to keep all of his tier 3 alive. Which tier 3 is he going to focus on microing, though? Oh, that badger is about to die. I think the badger will go down, but even if it does at this point, it's done so much work. It's at 4 HP, and the badger is still alive. And Vincent is just busting through. Man, hero badger. Everything buffed up by the wolf. And Vincent actually, I think, is going to win this game from here. There's really nothing Bratmo can do anymore. So, for the sake of time, I am going to fast forward a little bit. But yeah, I mean, really, a really clever play from Vincent. And it really just highlights the importance of scouting for Bratmo, man. I mean, Yeah, I don't want to pick on Bratmo too much, but that's actually kind of a good replay for the newbies that are out there. Maybe just started playing over the free weekend. Like, that just shows you how important scouting is, man. Because Bratmo was ahead on paper, basically every way he could be, and there were opportunities for Bratmo to go in there, execute a timing attack, and knock Vincent out. You know, before really any of his tier 3 was out. Bratmo beat by 5 units, as a gentleman. Dude, that was a really cool game. That's exactly the kind of stuff I like to see on the Feast, man. I like my favorite show would be a mix of like high level play, you know, like we got Mishi versus Valeris coming up next. You know, maybe beginners who are submitting replays to, you know, have their replay analyzed and try to figure out where they went wrong in the game. And then just crazy nonsense like that. Like, that was amazing. And it's hard to, you know, I mean, it's crazy like a fox, right? I mean, it worked. Is that the expression? I think it is. Crazy like a fox. Anyways, guys, game number 2. Okay, spawning in the left, we've got Valeris. And his opponent to the right, Mishi. Alright, so if you're new to the scene, these are both pretty high-level players. If you've been playing on the ladder at all, you should have definitely seen Valeris' name sitting right up there. You know, 1,000 MMR plus. And, you know, I'm pretty sure Valeris is on, like, all the time, man. He's always getting after it. Mishi is a busy grad student working on his PhD. And something with chemistry. Maybe it is just straight-up chemistry. So he's not on too often, but he does play and he does maintain a very high level. You know, it's hard to make a list of the top 5 top Tooth and Tail players at the moment. You don't include Mishi or Valeris. And if you didn't include Mishi and Valeris, maybe they're numbers 6 and 7 and like just barely didn't make the list. So both really high level players here. I'm excited for this match. Mishi actually opening up, it looked like a 6 farm Warren here. Valeris scouts it out, matches it with a 7. So basically what we saw there was Mishi was essentially just saying, hey, you know, he was almost like feigning aggression. Like, you can't go straight for 8 farms. If you do, I might be able to get 2 or 3 squirrels over in time and pick off one of your pigs or be annoying and harass your building Warren, stuff like that. And Valeris responded exactly correctly. If you see your opponent going for like a 5 farm Warren, you typically want to build a 6 farm Warren. In this case, Valeris scouted that Mishi was going for a 6 farm Warren. He responded with a 7 farm Warren. And you want to do that because the rush distance is long enough and the Warrens build quickly enough where you can get over there in time and you're okay. And then you get that economic advantage. Best Sakia NA with the 100 bits, man. I appreciate it. Dude, I didn't know you were off work, man. I thought you worked late. I need to get you on here to cast with me, dude. I thoroughly enjoyed casting with you when we did the grand finals of Season 1 Tooth and Tail League. If you guys haven't checked that out, man, definitely check out Best Sakia NA's channel. He runs the Tooth and Tail League. A lot of great content over there. So we see both players here going for pretty mirror openings. The big difference here is that Valeris went for the campfire. So we're going to see Skunk versus Ferret, which I really enjoy this matchup. I think it comes down a lot to micro. I've seen these engagements go either way. To me, and maybe I'm just biased because I'm normally on the Ferret side of this, but I feel like it's a bit easier to control on the Skunk side of things. With the Ferrets, like, this is actually a bad situation for Valeris, but he does have the turret, so the turret might be enough to slow Mishi down enough, because with the Ferret, you really want to try to do a lot of damage before the direct engagement comes in. And look at this brilliant hold from Valeris here. Mishi is actually going to take pretty significant damage. He needs to make sure not to lose this campfire. These couple YOLO and squirrels over here, he does take those down, so phenomenal hold. I got off work to visit family, but then fell through, and here we are. Oh, right on. Yeah, dude, that's the dude. I want you to co-cast with me, man. The only reason I don't invite you is because I know you work late. Oh, cool. So Sakia is gonna get some casting going on. Season 2 matches, I think, after this. Are Season 2 matches ready? Are you waiting on me to play any games? I should probably check that later. I apologize. But if you are in chat, let me know. Last I saw, I think everything was getting squared away still. So Mishi's keeping the pressure on, but right now Mishi's got a few problems here. For one, Valeris has been mining on this campfire since the early game. And for 2, he lost that big engagement. And look at these nice ferret shots. And the Toads Magoats here for Valeris. Does he get any connections? Gets a couple off on the tier 2. I argue that Toads connecting on tier 2 is actually not terrible, as they do trade evenly with tier 2 units and deal pretty high single target damage. But obviously, even if that's the case, you still want those Toad explosions on the tier 1 of your opponent. Nice ferret shots there, knocking out a couple squirrels. But yeah, the saving grace for Mishi in this game, though, you know, in the early game, you got to remember this economy got going a bit faster for Valeris here, and Mishi lost that big fight. But Mishi did manage to get a much faster second base up and running. So at the moment, Mishi does have a better economy. Valeris is not slouching on his own second base, though. And if these ferrets are forcing a hard engage here, Mishi is going to have to pull the trigger or lose this gristmill, which might be losing the game. And beautiful target fire down on those Toads. Really those Toads were not very efficient at all for Valeris there. I think they got some decent hits on those 3 lizards, but other than that, the rest of them either died from the AI or Mishi was target firing. Keeping those ferrets alive for now, and just gonna try to. I like this too a lot from Valeris here, but you know, kind of in between fights. You know, it's sometimes, especially for new players, it might be hard to figure out how to saturate up that second base. So you can see Valeris is just, you know, like in between fights, he just adds a farm, right? Like he's not going crazy on saturating that second base. But here we go. Mishi wanting to engage, and these Toads are going to get some good connections here. But Mishi has got so much tier 1. Is it going to be enough? It doesn't look like it. That was a very clutch turret there from Valeris. If he didn't get that turret up right in time, Mishi's squirrel count, I think, would have been just barely enough to break the back of Valeris, at least for the time being, where Valeris' tier 1 would have went down, and Mishi could have started hitting those juicy Christmas ferrets, man. I found, alright, so what happened? My skins are a little out of whack, guys. Apparently, I have an old skin folder from around Christmas time on. But yeah, so when I did the Tooth and Tail PvP campaign, I had to install a custom version of the game, then roll it back. Long story short, I lost all my skins. And I didn't back them up because I was like, oh, I've already backed them up. I have a skin folder. But I didn't realize this is an outdated skin folder. So some of my skins are missing. Like I have an otter ferret now, I think. I think I took the skins off the falcon for the time being. I have a really cool custom ToothAndTailTV hopper skin that Glorious AFB made me. It's kind of got my logo on the flag. Really sick. This is a nice position, though, from Valeris. I don't think Mishi's going to be able to break it here. And, yeah, I think Valeris is in good shape. Like, Mishi's not dead, but Mishi's got serious issues here, as he kind of has to keep attacking. Otherwise, Valeris is going to be able to get pop shots in on this gristmill with these ferrets, right? I like this from Mishi trying to pull these falcons up, but needs to be careful not to lose them. Good micro thus far. Only taking a little bit of damage there, but think about how much value these ferrets have been racking up all game long. Just kill here, kill there. I don't think he's lost a ferret yet. This is looking great from Valeris. I like the decision to sell the Toads. He wasn't quite getting the value that he needed out of them. I think when he saw Mishi building the lizards, it was kind of Valeris' trigger to go into Toads, but then once he realized the lizards were a bit of a fake out, you know, Mishi only built a few of them, Valeris switched back out of Toads into squirrels. Yeah, this is rough for Mishi, man. This is why it's difficult, at least from my perspective, to run decks without the ferrets. Because, you know, your opponent gets up a couple turrets, man. That can be a really difficult position. Now, if Mishi had ferrets of his own, he could be entrenching these turrets without having to directly engage. Okay engagement there for Mishi, but losing the skunk hurts. And I think Valeris is just getting enough value slowly over time and sneaking in that farm or two whenever he can. Mishi's also been doing that, if you've noticed. Really the best way in clutch situations like this to kind of keep your economy going. You know, it's kind of there's kind of 3 approaches to it. There's the one base all in where you're just like, whatever, man. I'm not even gonna take another gristmill. You know, maybe I'll take a campfire or two to bolster up. There's being super greedy, which you will see sometimes from high-level players on large maps, where you just try to get away with, you know, building a second base with like 8 farms on it as fast as you can. And then there's kind of this approach where it's like we're both in each other's faces all game long. There really hasn't been more than a 15-second engagement without a gun going off here, or 15-second period, you know. And you just kind of got to sneak in a farm or two whenever you can to keep that economy going. Alright, so Mishi's economy did just actually take a bit of a dive there. As since Mishi was farming earlier off this second base, it's already starting to mine out. Meanwhile, Delthius' second base fully saturated up. Delthius has got enough after all those small wins kind of cascading over and over all match in those skirmishes to finally seal the deal and knock Mishi out. Hold on, sorry guys. Still, like, I'm not really sick anymore, but it's like I'm still like coughing a bit. I'll mute my mic like a professional caster and then cough. Bubago with the 25 bits. Thank you so much, man. Says thanks for the content. Thank you for watching, man. I thoroughly enjoy watching these Tooth and Tail. I feel like Tooth and Tail is incredibly fun to watch. You know, some games just are, some games just aren't. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's just RTS games in general, man. Like, I feel like StarCraft is really enjoyable to watch. Tooth and Tail. I even got into watching Warcraft 3 and Age of Empires 2 for a little while. It's really fun to watch, man. It's really cool to do this replay show. And I just enjoy that I finally found some nerds on the internet that like listen to me talk about RTS games for hours. So let's get into match number 3, guys. Okay, spawning in the bottom, we've got Yawakim. And his opponent up top, Reptiloid Astrolaw. Okay, what do we got going on this game? Reptiloid here with a bit of an innovative deck. Lots of reptiles here, makes sense with his name, but going for that fox. I guess if you don't really have a reptile tier 3 option, do you? We need to complain to Andy that we need a reptile tier 3, man. What would it be? Like, we've already done 2 lizard units, chameleons and lizards, right? So lizards are out. I was thinking like a big, enormous snake, but we've already got a snake. Maybe like a dinosaur? Are dinosaurs reptiles? Isn't science saying that dinosaurs were kind of related to birds now? I guess it depends on the dinosaur. Tortoise! Oh, dude. Or crocodile. Those are both amazing ideas. I like them both. Like, tortoise would be a tank, and crocodile could be like a melee... Oh, like a melee bruiser that's kind of got like a bit of a gap closer, you know? Like, imagine the croc... I keep thinking of like the crocodile bad guy from Donkey Kong, you know, like on the Super Nintendo. Kind of got that feel to him where he's like on his hind legs and buffed, you know, buffed up like Arnold Croc, and he just like pounces on a nerd, you know, gets in there. He'd have like a gap closer and like a swipe attack. King K Rule, yeah, King Cruel, that's who it was. I once lost to a player named Lots of Lizards. They use lots of lizards, and I didn't bring any lizard counters. I felt stupid. Oh yeah, that's amazing, dude. Crocodile would be dope. We need a King Croc in this game, man. We need a lobby for it. No, don't do that. Andy's busy enough working on new games and keeping Tooth and Tail alive. But it would be amazing. Maybe we can get a Croc skin, man. Like, I think the boar would make the most sense, right? Maybe not a flame. Like, we'd have to redo the bullet, I guess, for the flames. Like, what would be a more crocodile thing than flames? I mean, obviously, like, nasty swamp water. I don't know. I'm too tired to be creative, you guys. I'm sorry. Alright, what do we got going on? Reptiloid. Making some barbed wire here. I guess trying to dissuade Yawakim from coming in and attacking too early. Now, typically this kind of play, yeah, I like Reptiloid selling that off. You know, I don't mind it. You know, we do want to see more barbed wire. But typically you don't want to go too crazy on defense early. But you know what? I mean, really now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, what do you build? Like 3 or 4 pieces of barbed wire? That's about the same cost as building like a single turret. So it's one of those hard things, and really in any RTS game, like you want to throw down early defense to feel safe. But there's this issue in RTS where it's like, if you try to be safe against everything, you're going to be safe against nothing, right? So if you throw down a bunch of defense in the early game, you might be safe against your opponent if they just try to swing into your base with an all-in attack. But if your opponent decides to eco up, then you're going to be very far behind. So it's kind of a balancing act, and you'll see players more often than not try to build defense like at the last minute when they sense or scout a big attack coming out. And I think this is a wonderful response from Yaokim after he saw a little bit of defense going up from Reptiloid, and also the attempt to take the second base there. Yaokim just says, you know what, I'll get my own second base. I'll get a high-tech unit in the form of the Boar, aka King Croc, after I convinced a pixel artist to make me a skin. That could be a Croc's ability, high HP, and it prioritizes targets that stuns them. That would be cool. A stun unit? Ah, man, I think stun unit makes a lot of sense on the Croc. The imaginary Croc unit that we're concocting here. But, you know, to be fair, this is actually not a bad position for Reptiloid. The artillery cannon is a big investment this early on, but this RD cannon is basically not going to allow Yaokim to attack this main and second base, you know, really ever. I think Reptiloid is doing a good job with this defense, guarding two things at once, which is always kind of like my rule of thumb. I would have even liked this kind of set up better on this high ground here, or maybe even this high ground right on the edge of the territory. You know, just to spread out on the map as much as you can and get as much map value out of those defensive structures. But overall, I mean, Yaokim's making the right play here. You know, I mean, he's identified. Did he scout the artillery? Yeah, he scouted the artillery, so he's like, all right, I'm not really going to be able to move in anytime soon. So instead, I'm just going to get swole. Like, Reptiloid is going to have to expand to a third base eventually. I've got time, man. I'm just kicking back, playing some Tooth and Tail. Look at this little chameleon Metal Gear Solid mission here coming out of Reptiloid. Is he going to get the Tier 3 war? And I think so. Is he going to target the Tier 3 or the pigs? The Tier 3 at first, but then decides to go over to the pigs. Going to get a couple pigs here. Yaokim's already out on the map, though. I was wondering if he was just going to commit. No, he decides to turn around. And that is going to be very good for Reptiloid, I feel like. Because now Reptiloid could just stealth out of here. Slow down that big attack. Yeah, Yaoki was about to push out and got a lot of damage done. Alright, so Yaoki looking to move out now. Ooh, catches these chameleons. They weren't held down. You gotta hold that button down if you want them to be stealthed. It looks like Reptiloid corrects at the very end, saves one of those chameleons, but picks 3 chameleons up for free. That's not negligible. Reptiloid trying to hunker down on this second base here. Yaoki, no! Oh, why are you leaving? That was a good attack angle. Yaoki had the perfect attack angle to take out this Gristmill, but maybe decided he didn't want to extend, moves back for now. And he's got these pigeons, so he could kind of come over here, maybe outside the artillery cannon's range. It's kind of hard to judge nowadays with the artillery cannon because the range is so ridiculous. Alright. Reptiloid moving in. Decides, I don't got enough, backs out. But yeah, this is the issue with like turtley play and Tooth and Tail, is that bases just really don't last long enough. You know, if you're gonna turtle up, you got to do it over an area where you can get, you know, 3 to 4 bases really in there for you to take. Oh man, Reptiloid hoping to maybe go for a base trade here. I don't blame him. As Yaokim's starting to shell, he's got quite a few ferrets over here, 6 of them. Gonna be able to kind of deal with that range of the artillery cannon. As Reptiloid, I'd love to see Reptiloid just try to snipe these Gristmills. He's got 4 chameleons. It won't take super long. But Yaokim, yeah, I was about to say, Yaokim could probably just try to move in, target fire down that Artie, but he lost his commander. Commanders die so fast against snakes, man. The Artie cannon goes down anyways, because Yaokim's just got enough, and, you know, he had good targeting before his commander died. But Reptiloid just demolishing things with chameleons. Where did Reptiloid's commander go? Ah, Reptiloid went over here. Look at this. More barbed wire, more Artie. Gonna try to stay alive. I think Reptiloid should have tried to warp back home and maybe sold some of these Warrens. Try to get a little bit of money back for this new base over here in the land of the East. Alright, Reptiloid keeping moving here with the chameleon aggression. Now, Yaokim doesn't know where Reptiloid still is on the map. I think he should have a pretty good guess, though, as really the only spot he hasn't scouted recently is all the way over there in that 3 o'clock position. But Yaokim, I think, just wants to position his army in such a way where Reptiloid can't just get in there and snipe it with chameleons. Oh, needs to be careful. Really can't afford to lose these chameleons. Okay, no. Oh. Now this is crazy, but Reptiloid, maybe with some good micro, might be able to win this game. Like, imagine if Reptiloid left right now, got that campfire, came over here, targeted this down, throw down a Gristmill. Like, it would be a long shot, but maybe Reptiloid could do it. Instead decides to engage with these chameleons and snakes. And really, Yaokeem doesn't have a whole lot left in his army besides these ferrets and pigeons. And ferrets don't really do all that great by themselves. They need other units to support them. Okay. All right. This is an awkward position for Yaokeem because it's like you kind of feel like you've got it in the bag, right? But at the same time, you don't want to step out of position and lose the game to something silly like Chameleon Run By. A little bit of Chameleons here, getting some value for Yaokeem. As the Chameleons for Reptiloid move out again. He's going to try to destroy these Warrens. I don't mind it. I mean, Yaokeem's army is not here to defend. And Yaokeem's army is on the way. The snake's going to go down. Reptiloid only has one chameleon left. And I think Yaokeem should be able to just push in here. You know, go around this barbed wire, get the right angle. These chameleons actually can take this barbed wire down. With the pigeons healing, it should be even more of no big deal, so. Some clever play by Reptiloid, but nice response there from Yaokeem. Just kind of punishing that early defense style. And I think what Reptiloid was going for with the barbed wire artillery cannon early on could have worked better if maybe, you know, it was defending like 3 bases instead of just 2. Mishra points out, barbed wire is the only structure you don't have to defend with your army. This is very true. I think barbed wire is really it's almost like directly proportional to lizards, you know? Like if lizards are really popular in the meta, you know, then toads get better. And I think it's kind of the same with barbed wire, because barbed wire is one of the only units you can really use to help prevent or kind of mend the bleeding from a big lizard, you know, counterattack. Okay, guys, match number 4. I'm trying to get to the European people a bit earlier on, so if you are European, let me know, because I know a couple Europeans do stay up and watch the show. And I know it's quite late over there, and many European fans have voiced that they wish there was an earlier feast. I'm sorry, you guys. Like, I work a lot. I think I got home from work at like 6:30 my time. And the feast starts at 8, so I had like just enough time to drink a beer and lay in my bed for a minute. I was like, okay, time to do the show. Alright guys, match number 4. Okay, spawning in the bottom, we've got the Gentleman. And his opponent to the top left, Prozix. Keeps making me think of Prozac, medicine. Isn't that like a drug? Don't people abuse Prozac? I don't know, man. The Gentleman taking a play out of Pyle's deck here, or Pyle's playbook, I should say, and utilizing his deck, or at least a deck that Pyle made popular a few months ago now, I believe. Just, you know, picking up that lizard and going for a lot of tier 3. I like the iteration Pyle made by, you know, dropping, not tier 3 rather, geez, I'm sorry guys. Lizard and a lot of defense. But I like Pyle's iteration that I've seen him do lately, where he'll drop one of those defenses and put in like an owl or a badger to just have a little more oomph in the late game. That's why I was trying to say tier 3. So the Gentleman's kind of got a pretty straightforward plan here. You know, he's going to build a whole bunch of lizards and build a lot of defense and try to kind of get into a base race situation where Prozix is forced to try to trade into defense, and meanwhile Gentleman just kind of run around and gets him with the lizards. Now Gentleman could also try to contain Prozix here, you know, taking one of these forward bases, throwing up a turret, then a balloon, then an artillery cannon, maybe even some barbed wire. But I'm really excited for / curious to see if the gentleman is going to throw down some really innovative mine placements. I've been kind of saying it a lot lately with mines, but I feel like mines like have exponentially high power before the first mine is seen, and then after that the power level decreases. Like, it's still good, but you know, you don't see mines a lot. Mines aren't really a staple unit in decks, right? So you're not going to expect the mines. So Prozix might take the most obvious attack path right over the gentleman's base, and as long as Prozix doesn't catch the gentleman trying to plant those mines, you know, imagine gentleman throws down 3 or 4 mines like right here or something, blows up all of Prozix lizards. That would be amazing. But here we go, an engagement coming in. It's going to come down to target firing, as I believe the lizard numbers are relatively even, and Prozix takes the engagement there. I think Prozix might have had an extra couple lizards in that fight as well, since he had the closer rush distance, as that fight was pretty close to his base. So let's see it, man. We're in lizard versus lizard here, and Prozix did actually get this base up. That's a big deal, I feel like. Gentleman's move out initially was to try to prevent that base from coming up in the first place, right? And the base is indeed here. So there you go. I feel like Prozix, as long as he doesn't overdo it with the farms that he's taking on that second base, he's gonna kind of get this economic lead slowly over time. And Gentleman's quite aware of this. So Gentleman's gonna have to try to, yeah. See, this is interesting because, ooh, does he get the scout off on that? It's really important. He doesn't. So I like this out of Gentleman. He doesn't build the mines in like the best spot, I feel like, you know. I feel like that attack path that Prozix just moved his commander through would probably be the best spot, but since the mines before they're revealed are exponentially stronger, as there's no stealth detection and you're not gonna really think the mines are coming, you know, Prozix would have seen those mines being laid down, and then the cat's out of the bagel there, you know. So I like it, man. The Gentleman can like feint. Oh, look at this, the Gentleman. Oh, those mine hits were good. Their mine hits were fantastic. I was expecting all the units to die. What am I saying? But quite a few of those lizards died, and many more of them were very bruised. And look at this. It makes the Gentleman able to come in here. That was fantastic. Like, I don't know why I didn't think of that. Probably because I'm tired and the Gentleman's better at tooth and tail than I am. But the Gentleman set up this base just as a bait, where he's like, I'm going to put this base here. I'm going to move my units out of position. I'm going to put mines in front of it. And then Prozix is going to move his units right over here to try to snipe this base when he thinks he has a little window. The big mine engagement hits. The Gentleman comes in and takes a favorable fight. That was a beautiful play. And the Gentleman on the counterattack there did kill a bunch of farms too. So the economy is still a bit in the favor of Prozix. I feel like those farms were mining for long enough that they did get some value. This is interesting from Prozix though. Like, he's kind of volunteered to stay on pure lizard against what the Gentleman's doing. But off the back of that better engagement there, getting that economic damage done, the Gentleman's just got too much at this point. I feel like Prozix got to tap out. There's the match. Really cool mind play from the Gentleman. Okay, let me grab another drink real quick. 1 second, guys. Okay. Delthius does have beer tonight. Last couple feasts I haven't drank, man. It's not like, I don't know, I never get drunk on stream. I just have a couple beers. I mean, I just haven't had them lately. I like it, man. Loosen up a little bit. Whatever. Okay. Okay. Okay, guys. Game number 5. Let's do it. Okay, spawning in the top left, we've got Captain Intellect. And his opponent to the bottom right, Dazit. Dazit's been around for quite some time at this point. Captain Intellect is a new player. I think he started on the free weekend. This is actually his first ranked game ever, he said in the message. He also streams on Twitch, so check that out as well. I think it's just twitch.tv/Captain Intellect, as it's spelled there. I think he's been streaming some Tooth and Tail as he's been figuring the game out. So overall, I like the deck composition here for Captain Intellect. I think it makes sense for a newer player. You know, it's really standard. You can't really go wrong with that 2 tier 1, 2 tier 2, tier 3 in a defense split. And I think board makes a lot of sense in today's meta. Tier 1 is pretty popular. And that board will really punish your opponent for getting too much tier 1. And even in the late game, it's still a pretty good unit. Regardless, just because it can tank so much and do, you know, good AoE damage to really anything that doesn't fly. It's kind of fallen out of favor a little bit since it lost like 20 HP to a nerf, but you see this kind of all the time in RTS games, or really any game in general, where when something gets nerfed, everybody is like, oh, it's garbage, and they just like totally take it out of their play completely. Pretty standard like overreaction kind of thing. So I don't think that the boar is bad now. It's just not as good as it was. It's a bit more fair, you know? Okay, I tried turning up the music a little bit there. Let me look at my levels. That might be a little too loud. Let's crank it down just a bit. Yeah, that should be good. Should be good, man. Now we're cooking with oil. Cooking with fire. Isn't that the expression, cooking with fire? You know, cooking with oil makes more sense. What if you're convection cooking, right? Like an oven? You're not creating a fire with oven. That's convection, man. Learn your heat transfer, okay? Captain Elect trying to move out, poke and prod a bit with some Squizzard. Decides he doesn't really want to take the engagement. He really could have, but big mistake here from Captain Intellect, I feel like, is really just building a bit too many tier 1 warrens before getting up to the 8 farm. Now, typically you might see 1 or 2 tier 1. You can definitely do this sort of thing as well, but you need to be pretty aggressive with it because really, like, getting up to 8 farms in the early game is incredibly important as quickly as you can. There are a couple exceptions to that with like 4 farm double openings, 5 farm double openings, but those are less and less common as higher level players have kind of mapped out the correct response to early game aggression if it's scouted and you have time to react. But no problem. Dazit is going to have a bit of an eco lead coming into the mid game here. Now, the way you play from this situation, if you're Captain Intellect, is you kind of just try to drag the game out, because this economic difference that this little bit of an economic advantage Dazit got the early game build is going to mean less and less the longer the game goes on, and these farms get more towards 100% completion. Cooking with gas. Is it cooking with gas? Cooking with gas makes sense, I guess. But all 3 of those things are relevant terms, right? You want to cook with fire. I guess gas makes sense. Dazit gonna just jump in on this big attack from Captain Intellect, who is really committing to this gristmill. Does get it, but loses his entire army for it. Dazit's gonna counterattack in. This turret is actually very well placed on the high ground here, as Dazit has no way to get that high ground vision besides running all the way around. So this defense is gonna do better than it normally would without such good turret placement here. Actually, Captain Intellect does hold, but he takes quite a bit of damage here. I mean, that turret placement is ideal, though. Really, I think that's the only reason he's still alive. I just saw something moving on the turret inside. Have I never noticed that before? Is there actually movement in that little window? Maybe I'm crazy. See, if we had that rewind feature, we could verify whether or not Delthius is crazy. Okay, watch the turret. What? Okay. Oh, okay, so it's switched over, right? Right, that makes sense. I guess the gunner changes windows. Dazit tried to just snipe the gristmill. I feel like he might have had enough. Oh, what it is the little shells from the bullets disappearing. Cooking with gas. I mean, what if you're cooking with charcoal? What if you're cooking with an electric oven? A stovetop? You're not always cooking with gas, man. Cooking with oil makes pretty good sense, right? Like, you gotta oil the pan. What am I doing? I'm like trying to defend that my way of saying this like old saying is more correct. I know. That logic. No, you guys. It's cooking with oil because I said that it makes more sense. Not because facts and how it's just been. That's got to be an old term, man. Cooking with gas. I mean, I guess it can only be a few hundred years old. Well, I don't know. How long have we been cooking with gas? Right? I mean, I guess only since, you know, combustible gases like gasoline could be successfully harvested, purified, and contained. So, what's that, like a couple hundred years? Cooking with wood. See, you can say anything there, man. Cooking with butter. It all makes sense. Yeah, cooking with wood's probably the oldest, right? Or I guess cooking with fire, but I think cooking with wood and cooking with fire would have a tie for being the oldest, right? Because that's the first way that we cooked as a human species. Now I'm hungry, says Kurt. But dude, my wife made me a BLT when I got home. But check it out, dude. The BLT had 2 over easy eggs on it. Try that. It was amazing. Now, Dazit's playing with his food a little bit here, and you got to be careful in situations like this. I feel like, you know, if you give Captain Intellect enough time, he could get back into this game. But, yeah, I mean, from an analysis standpoint, I apologize. I've been derping off too much this replay, man. Like I said, I'm tired, and when I get tired, I get delirious. But, yeah, I think the big issue here was simply just the opening build. Like, you really want to go for that 8-farm opening into two tier 1 warrens, rather, unless you have a reason not to. Unless you scout your opponent going for a 5, 6, or 7 farm warren, you need to respond by going for a warren timing of 1 farm above that. Or if you're trying to do something like a 5 farm double, which they do work. I mean, I don't want to underplay the 5 farm double opening. It's just a lot of good players have figured out how to respond to that correctly. Basically, you know, if you open up 5 farm double and I scout it, I can open up 6 farm double or even 6 farm single and maybe a turret and, you know, keep my eco going, and I will be able to hold off your attack and end up ahead. But that's not always the case. I mean, imagine like a situation and Captain Intellect taps out. Yeah, I think he played well. There's a couple beginner mistakes there. Like I said, the opening build allowed Dazit to get pretty far ahead economically in the early game, which can be very difficult to come back from. And then also when Captain Intellect tried to overcommit, taking out Dazit's second base there. He did end up taking out the second base, but the counterattack from Dazit as Captain Intellect sacrificed his whole army to take that second base was just too much. And then from there, it was really just Dazit had the lead, right? So it's kind of like, it's not impossible in those situations, but the onus is really on Captain Intellect to come up with some Hail Mary, some crazy play, some really big risks, some hidden base with 8 farms, or rush to a tier 3 unit your opponent doesn't expect and win the game with that, or some kind of counterattack or base trade. Because if you just kind of play it, you know, normal, when one player is significantly ahead, then they should be able to seal the game out, if that makes sense. When you're behind, you're not out of the game, but it's really up to you to come up with some crazy response, take a big risk. Apparently, now we're cooking with gas was a term gas companies use in radio ads to get people to switch from wood burners. But don't quote me on that, just found it on Google. Look at this propaganda, man. That's some capitalist nonsense. We're revolutionaries here, man. We're hashtag common folk. So no more cooking with gas talk. That's capitalist propaganda to sell gas equipment. Gas equipment. I mean, how aren't they? Wasn't like gas lines being subsidized by the government? I mean, what are they trying to sell you? Hey, do you need this gas oven for this gas line that we're building in neighborhoods? I mean, I guess. Dell is an old man. Hey, you know what? A little bit. I'm really not that old, but compared to some of you guys that beat me on the ladder, I am. Anyways, guys, we got a 2v2 afoot. Spawning in the bottom, we've got Survival. Oh, I get it. And Kingers. And up top, Kerpa Premium Bow. Gas Grills. Oh, yeah. I guess Gas Grills would make sense as the first big gas cooking equipment, right? Like, sell little gas modules while things get started before the gas lines got all over the place. Okay, alright. Keep your eye on the KSR player here, the green guy. as Premium Bo is known for crazy nonsense in his 2v2 games. And he's got his buddy Kerpa with him. And speaking of crazy nonsense, here we go. 4-farm triple opening of Toads. Oh my god, Toads Magodes, you guys. This is what I'm talking about. This is artwork right here. This is Tooth and Tail beauty. Somebody put this replay in a museum. Alright, let's see it. Now here's a question. Well, I guess since they made 3 warrens, are you going to wait for all 9 Toads? Like, Survival just scouted this. Like, are you serious? What do you even do against this, man? There's nothing you can do. Gasoline-powered personal heaters? Oh, my God. I mean, I'm a mechanical engineer that, like, works with like HVAC stuff, so that's just hilarious thinking about the air contaminants. I mean, I guess you don't need to be an engineer to think about having something like that in your house. That's amazing. Gas-powered personal heater. I bet there was a gas-powered hairdryer too. I guarantee you, right? There had to have been. They didn't care in the early 1900s. When doctors were like prescribing whiskey and all kinds of stuff. Like, it was nuts. Early 1900s was another world, man. Here we go. Kerpa and Premium Bo found the angle. They've got the Toads Magodes here. They're moving in. Are they just gonna get the gristmill? Oh my god. Oh my god, you guys. How many Toads was that? That was like 15 to 16, right? Because look, 2 of them are still here, and they probably didn't have all 18. God, gas-powered personal heaters, man. There's got to be something crazier than that. Dude, that was amazing. That's why we need... See, that's why it's good we don't have a rewind feature, because if we did, I would just rewind to that over and over and over again. I feel bad for Survival. Like, Premium Bo just made Survival uninstall this game. He's like, dude, I was playing with my bro Kingers. I thought I had a good build here, just having fun in 2v2, and then all of a sudden, Toads Magodes right on my face. GG. Alright, man. What's the plan, Kingers? Kingers is just hanging out. He built a couple turrets to stay safe. He's trying to eco up. But it's 1v2 here now. You very, very rarely ever see this work. I think we saw the highlight of this replay, man. Like the 15 to 16 Toads. This is a good fight for Kingers, though, as most of these units are trying to take out the gristmill. I think Kingers might take this. No, just the 2v1 numbers are too much. For the sake of time, we'll fast forward. Yeah, he takes it out. What a great game, man. Dude, I'm already having a blast tonight. We've had a great show so far. We got to see some Mishi Valeris. We got to see some Yaokim and Reptiloid. You know, Yaokim is not quite as new. Reptiloid seemed like he was a new player. So a little bit of new guys, a little bit of high level, and a couple crazy nonsense games with Vincent building all the tier 3. And 2 players opening 4 farm, 9 toad. Just blow up a gristmill. That's really not... I'm going to go out on a limb here, but like that really didn't seem terrible, right? Like, if your opponent doesn't quite put the pieces together fast enough, like, that actually might be competitive in a 2v2. Obviously, it's one of those things that, even if it was competitive in 2v2, it only happened, like, once or twice, right? And then people would be taking, like, anti-toad measures in the early game, or just attacking. Nah, I think you could take a cheap victory off it if somebody wasn't expecting it, especially with their response. I didn't really comment on that, but like, you know, when they got home, they sold off those toads and went into more conventional stuff. But if you know, I feel like you could take a game off 2 high-level players if they weren't expecting it and they didn't quite put the puzzle together fast enough, right? And then all of a sudden, 16 toads just snipe your gristmill. Like, I don't know. It'd be one of those things that only works like once, though. I know that wasn't competitive to 2v2 Premium Bo. I'm just saying that might be like a crazy build. It's almost like a cheese, you know? Like, imagine you're playing like a best of 5 2v2 match. Like, maybe you could get away with that. I don't know. Probably not. Listen, I'm tired. Game number 7. Okay. Spotting at the top, we've got Shulzy Woolsey. That's just a fun name to say, man. And in the bottom right, we've got Pillow 8. Pillow 8, also one of the high-level players in Tooth and Tail. Shulzy Woolsey is just fun, man. Just listen. No one's gonna know. Just say Shulzy Woolsey out loud real quick. Doesn't it feel good? It's a fun thing to say. Alright, what are we doing this game, guys? A lot of similar picks in these decks. Pillow 8 going for this Owl Wolf style that we've seen him and Chip kind of experimenting with. Balloons from both players. Yeah, Shady Noodle Merchant did it. That's what I'm talking about. Shulzy Woolsey. Speaking of Shulzy Woolsey, big difference here is the Ferrets, I feel like, and the Falcon. I mean, I'm not a really big Owl player, personally. I try to mix it in every now and then, so I don't just get typecasted as the guy who does the same thing every single time, and it's easy to counter me. But I like this composition from Shulzy Woolsey, man. He's got the Owl, Skunk, Falcon. I feel like that's really strong together. As the Falcons in the late game, once you get a big flock of them, you know, they're not really useful, at least in this situation, until you get quite a few of them. But once you do, then you have something that can actually hit the opponent's Owls and knock those out with some focus fire. Skunks do phenomenally, I feel like. In Owl versus Owl engagements, they deal with those mice really well, as they're kind of tanky enough where the mice don't immediately kill them. And obviously AoE is good against a bunch of free units. That's main talking point for the mice are, of course, their numbers. Now, they're still pound for pound pretty strong. Hey, it's Mishi. Mishi did it too. Dude, Shulzy Woolsey, man. It's just fun. Alright, alright. But Wolf is cool with the Owl as well. You know, you buff up that Owl, you buff up those mice. So, I don't know, man. I also like the Snake. Maybe the Snake is better than the Falcon. I feel like the Snake and the Falcon and these decks kind of serve the same purpose, where that's the way that you kind of deal with your opponent's Owls. But these decks, it's kind of interesting because the Skunks kind of serve a couple purposes in this style, right? Like, the Skunks are going to get you through that early to mid-game. As you can see, both the players really mirror builds at this point, but trying to rush up to those fast squirrels. Pillow 8 getting this fast campfire, which is a big deal. But in what could be an Owl versus Owl game, you know, if we get to later on, the campfire is going to mean less. But if this is a fast, scrappy match, that campfire might mean everything. So Shulzy's going to take the Expo, as is Pillow 8. And they're both just, I think they both kind of have the same thing on their mind, you know? They want to get out enough stuff to not just die, where the Skunk and Balloon are pretty good at helping you out with that. You know, get up to a big 2 to 3 base economy and get out a bunch of Owls. So let's see where they want to take the game from here. I'm kind of surprised at how many squirrels they're both still making, as they have seen the Skunks from their opponents. But at the same time, this isn't a crazy amount. I think 12 is kind of the right number, though. If you see your opponent's got Skunks, you know, maybe 15. But I feel like at 15, you're starting to push it, man. I'd be surprised to see these guys build any more squirrels from here. But it also might just be that, you know, a number style, that Zap Brannigan style. You know, you just throw stuff at them and, you know, whatever. They got a couple Skunks, I don't care. I'm going to have 1,000,000 squirrels, and we're going to get it done anyways. You know, soloed squirrels, like, Swifty really showed me that, I mean, you can beat, like, Squirrel Skunk with just pure Squirrel. Like, it can be done. It's not easy. I don't know how well it works now that retreating was nerfed a little bit. But you basically just try to run in there, target fire down their Skunks real quick, you know, micro out of the gas, and take the Squirrel fight. It's not easy. It's not recommended to do, but it can be done. But we're not seeing that from either player here. First Balloon going down for Pillow here. But Ferret's on the way, and this is a nice position for Shulzy to siege from. You know, Pillow's going to have to deal with fighting an uphill game, you know, basically this whole match. Where Shulzy is, what Pillow's not, I don't feel like Pillow is totally screwed on this map. as he does have at least access to 3 relatively easy bases here. You really can't ask for a better spawn than this, but Schulze's spawn, this at least is better. The third base positioning for Schulze is kind of rough. You know, either this one, which I feel like Pillow should be able to contest, but it's going to get more difficult to contest now that this balloon is up. And some ferrets to siege in on. And then this other base over here. I mean, I think those third and fourth bases for Schulze aren't unreasonable to take. But I'd like to see Pillow not try to let this game go on forever, because I feel like Schulze might have a better map here. You know, it's not a terrible map for Pillow, but, you know, the high ground is really important. I think most high-level players would rather have a more difficult third base, but better high ground position, rather than vice versa here. Nice job from Schulze with this micro. Really trying to find whatever holes, whatever chinks in Pillow's armor here that he can to get some damage on with these ferrets. Ooh, does he deny this balloon? He doesn't have high ground vision, so that's going to be a nice, well-placed balloon there from Pillow 8 to prevent this poking in from Schulze Woolsey. But Pillow 8's tier 3 is almost here, man, and Schulze has not started his owls yet. So, I mean, when does Pillow pull the trigger? He's saving a lot of money. He's going to try to get another tier 3. Owl number 2 gets started. He's got the wolf here. Is the wolf going to be enough to break through this? I don't think so. I think Schulze has a very nice sieging position here with these balloons, with these ferrets. And this is definitely getting rougher and rougher for Pillow. This balloon is not quite zoning these ferrets out completely. His balloon gave vision for his ferrets to kill my balloon. Oh, man. How did I not miss that? Good call, chat. Or how did I miss that, rather? How did I not miss that? I would have preferred not missing that. Yeah, I really feel like the balloon, like, you can't discount the vision. Like, look at that vision, man. That is insane. Like, army positioning is so important, Tooth and Tail. That balloon giving you that extra few seconds to respond and get your units in the right spot. I really feel like you can't undervalue that. Okay, now Schulze is getting up to his own owls here. Pretty similar economies. But Pillow has been taking damage. Pillow hasn't really taken a ton of damage, though. Those Warrens up front, he did manage to sell those off before they totally died. Alright, fast forward a little bit here. I mean, is Pillow going to make a play for this fourth? It looks like Schulze is going to go ahead and grab it now. Pillow's going to try to utilize these buffed up owls. So what was the verdict on the buffed up owls? Do they spawn mice more quickly? Did we ever figure that out? I remember we were talking about that once. Because otherwise, it's like the wolf buff is a little bit wasted on the owl, right? Getting some nice value out of these mice, but Schulze's first owl is here as well. Look at all that skunk gas on the field. Ooh, that's a nice little position that Pillow's caught Schulze into. All that gas dealing a lot of AoE damage, but can't quite get the skunks far enough up to really gas everything. They spawn mice more quickly and doubles a mouse cat per owl. Spawn mice more quickly, but they live just as long as non-buff mice. Yeah. But effectively, that would I don't know about double. Double might be correct. Premium normally doesn't pipe up unless he knows what he's talking about for the most part. At least on things like this. But yeah, I can see that. It would certainly increase the number of mice per owl if they are spawning faster, but Schulze might just have a little bit too much here as he moves in. Nice attempts from Pillow, but these last couple of fights he's been fighting, you know, these ferrets have just been shelling him for the past several minutes in this game. You know, constantly fighting under those balloons as well when he's trying to move in. It looks like Schulze might just have enough to take this match. Second wolf gets out here from Pillow. 4 owls and 2 wolves, man. And a lot of skunks. A really powerful army here, but the damage is done at this point. Some good micro from Pillow 8. Gonna give us a show. See, This is what I'm talking about. I feel like this is why Falcons are pretty okay in these late game Owl Wars, because, you know, that base, you know, Owl units really don't have anti-air. Besides, I guess, just your standard squirrels. Oh, Pillow 8, though, was able to take down that army with some good micro on his expensive units, and he's turning this game around. He's got Schulze on starvation, and Schulze actually taps out, and Pillow 8 takes the match. I don't know why I doubted him for a second. Impressive. Okay, I guess I'm wrong. I guess Wolf is better in Owl Wars than Falcon. Those clutch squirrels, man. You got to give the game, I feel like, to the squirrels at the very end. That knocked those Falcons out and protected all those tier 3. Pillow 8 plot twist. I was wondering why Pillow 8 wasn't getting mad in the chat. Yeah, that was pretty great. You tricked me, my man. Okay. I think Schulze submitted that game too. And I've never seen the name Schulze Wolsey, so he might be a new player. Alright, guys. What am I doing? Are we getting bonked? Is it time for some bonkage? Yeah, Schulze Wolsey in the chat saying he did submit that, dude. Good on you, man. I always give a tip of the hat when somebody submits their own loss. It's a very humble thing to do. I encourage both, man. Like, you know, don't tilt, you know? It's hard to explain. I mean, it's easy for me to say, but like, I've been a competitive gamer in several games, basically, since I was a wee nerd lad. And I'm telling you, man, like, why do you play Tooth and Tail? You know, to have fun. Like, don't take it too seriously, man. It's just a game. You're just playing to relax and have a good time. So what? You're gonna lose a couple? You're gonna win a couple? Big deal. I like guys like Schulze. He's like, you know what, man? I lost that game, but it was really cool. I want to see it casted. But it's always, the other side of the coin's always cool, man. You know, submit your wins. It's always cool to see your win, get casted and stuff. Okay, my body is ready to be bonked, so shady. Dude, we're about to get to the bonker here. Some premium bonkage. Oh my god. Dude, next 2v2 event, we need premium bow and bonk together, and we can call it premium bonk. Premium bonkage. Sounds like something a loser says, Del. You know what? You're just playing to have fun, man. Why get angry? I don't understand. In the bottom, we've got bonk. Premium bonk! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We need some premium bonkage. His opponent up top, Tyler. Now, we saw last show, Bonk submitted a game where he lost against Tyler. So we have another match here. Tyler, I believe, is a new player. I think Schulze Wolsey is a new player, too. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, I always make that mistake because it's like, I haven't seen your name around. So I assume that makes you a new player, but that's really, I feel like, a super egotistical assumption to make. Like, oh, if Delthius has never heard of them, then they must be new. Like, that's a ridiculous thing to think. So I apologize about that. But no, like, Schulze, I think Schulze played very well that game, if you are new. Okay, what do we got going on here? Lizard Toad versus Straight Lizard, so I feel like Tyler is in a better spot. I bought the game when it was released. See, exactly. That's why I was like, that's super egotistical thing to say. Like, just because I've never seen the name does not make them a new player. You certainly played like an expert, my man. Well done. Almost took the game against Pillow 8, one of the top Tooth and Tail players. So let's see where we're going this game. So Bonk is opening up aggressively here. We see him go for a 5 to 6 farm double. And meanwhile, Tyler, yeah, this is kind of the response. I'm not sure if Tyler did this intentionally. If he got the scout off, yeah, it looks like he got the scout off, but I'm not sure how long ago. But Tyler's in a better spot because they both, you know, Bonk went for like a 5 or 6 double. Tyler went for a 6 or 7 double. So Tyler's economy is slightly ahead, and their army is relatively even. Now, Tyler's got the Toads, which are going to do very, very well against Bonk here. Against the Lizards, so. And this is why it's rough. Like, you can do this. It's just very difficult, man. you're taking a big risk when you only go lizards, I feel like. Like, if you go lizard, you want to go squirrel lizard or lizard toad if you're a madman. You can kind of get away with just running squirrel a bit easier. But even just squirrel, you got to be careful because you can get ran over by lizards because lizards will trade pound for pound with squirrels very effectively. So typically, if you're going the squirrel route, you want to go squirrel toad or squirrel lizard. All right, where are these guys taking this, man? We got some skunks on the way. Meanwhile, Tyler is trying to get to a fast tier 2. I don't mind this turret. Again, you got to be careful with turrets in the early game, right? Like, that 60 food could be used somewhere else, but it's making him feel safe. He likes having that turret there, man. And it's also going to dissuade Bonk from attacking. Like, Bonk is like, all right, I'm ready to move out. And then he sees this turret. He might just turn around. And, you know, if Tyler's trying to get a second base up, that's probably exactly what he wants. He doesn't really want a big engagement anytime soon. But I would have loved this turret up here on this high ground, man. That almost would have been like a situation we saw against the game with Captain Intellect against Dazit. Where that turret, I mean, it's just really hard. This ledge is not as bad for Bonk as it was for Dazit, but it's still rough. If Bonk really isn't paying attention, you know, he can get caught where he's got to move all the way around this way to give that high ground vision, knock out that turret. But at the same time, this turret placement here is going to protect kind of this flank a bit better. You know, that this second base would be a lot more open if the turret was up on this double high ground here. But I like this from Bonk, man. He's not screwing around. He's getting his own second base. He's getting a lot of tier 2 units here. And I also like that he cut back on his lizards, which is leaving them open because, you know, you really need tier 1. You can't skimp out on your tier 1 too much, but Bonk has kind of got like the super friends of tier 2 going on here, right? Like, he's got chameleons up front to tank. He's got skunks for the AoE. He's got falcons for the single target. He's ready to go, man. And he's kind of in a damned if you do, damned if you don't with his own tier 1 kind of situation here. Because, again, he saw the toads, right? Where lizards do not do well against toads, man. Lizards tend to clump up pretty easily, especially when they're traveling around. The toads just get such beautiful engagements against them. All right. So, yeah, I mean, I think this game could go either way from here. It's really hard to say who's in the lead as they've both kind of been, you know, getting some decent income. Not a big engagement has happened yet, but here we go. Tyler is moving in for the push. I don't even have my lizard wizard skin on, you guys. I really deal with this skin situation here. My skins are all messed up. All right, Tyler moving in. And those chameleons soaked a lot of those toad hits there. Very nice for Bonk. And Tyler gets pushed back for the time being. Because really the lizards are all that Tyler has that can even hit tier 2. So, you know, if Bonk just keeps going hard on these falcons, he might start putting together this army composition that Tyler really can't deal with. Yeah, like the bat skin. This was a Halloween skin. They're supposed to be bats. Like, get it? Like Halloween spooky. I don't even have a skunk skin on. This is embarrassing, you guys. Christmas ferrets, dude. Christmas ferrets are amazing, though. If you haven't taken a close look at these guys, watch, man. Watch when they shoot. They shoot presents, you guys. It's like, here you go, Bonk. You've been naughty this year. Oh, no! Oh, I don't have that bullet on. Man, I am the worst. I, like, hyped everybody up for present ferrets. But I don't have that bullet installed. Well, they did have presents, you guys. You'll have to take my word for it. Tyler moving in, but this is looking good for Bonk, man. He's just got so much tier 2 at this point. These ferrets are going to go down. Ooh, Bonk doesn't chase. I feel like he could have chased there, but instead he just wants to make sure that all of his units heal back up. These reptiles are going to heal up especially quick, especially fast. Yeah, my skins are a mess, man. I'll work on that, maybe. I do have plans tomorrow night. We just got a new bassist in my bands, so I gotta help train him up tomorrow. But we'll see. I might have time. I have time to rummage around my folders and emails and find the correct skins that I want to show. All right, Tyler. Trying to take a third, but so is Bonk. Oh, nice. Bonk catches a couple things out of position, but he needs to be careful. These Falcons are very vulnerable by themselves. I almost would have preferred Bonk to just bring his whole army over there. These lizards are going to catch the Falcons. That's a huge play for Tyler. That's exactly what Tyler needed to get back into this game. Look at that big engagement Bonk took earlier and almost, basically, might have been able to push in and kill Tyler. Losing all those ferrets puts Tyler back into this match as both players are trying to get their third base. Fox Warren going down here for the Bonker. All right, snakes are here. This is rough for Bonk, though. Those Falcons were a big part of his army. A lot of the DPS, and that's so many lizards. Without any tier 1 of his own to deal with these lizards, Bonk takes a pretty big loss here. And Tyler might be smelling a bit of blood in the water here. Oh, these Falcons are just going to get eaten alive by these lizards. And Bonk is in a rough spot. I'd be surprised if Tyler holds this, or Bonk holds rather. But the Skunk putting out some gas, doing some AoE damage. The Chameleon's tanking up front. Allows Bonk to stay alive for now. Bonk got to sell off a little bit of tier 2. Oh, sells off the Fox. Probably the right decision there. Always get hyped to see some tier 3 coming on the board, but Fox is not that great against lizards, so it was kind of a rough call to begin with, a tall order, if you will. All right, I don't know if Tyler's got enough lizards this time. I think Bonk's just barely got enough DPS. And he's going to deny this third. Very back and forth game here. And now Bonk's in a great spot. What's Tyler going to do, man? You just can't get up to that like critical lizard mass anymore. And now that Bonk's kind of repaired his tier 2 count, he's kind of got enough. I really like this tier 2 style from Bonk. Like all these units really kind of complementing each other. And it seems like it's just tanky enough where like the Skunks might live, the Chameleons might just die, but gladly sacrifice, man. Chameleons, for the most part, they're your big bruiser unit up front. It's alright if you lose a Chameleon or two. You really want to try to keep those units like Skunks and Falcons, Ferrets, things like that alive. Okay. What's Tyler going to do, man? Bonk's economy is now starting to get through the roof. As Bonk did deny that third base from Tyler. Tyler is even starving at this point. He's got to make a play. He's got some money. Build a few things. Immediately denied there from Bonk. And Tyler really couldn't afford to lose that food. Now he's going to have to sell some things off to even try to build another gristmill. But he's running out of time. It takes 20 seconds to build a gristmill. So really, the latest you can build a gristmill is like 21 seconds, right? So you could have time to like barely throw down a farm in time. But yeah, I think that's it, man. I think Bonk is going to take the game. As Tyler is now starving out. Really couldn't muster back up a big enough army. And can't find anywhere to snag anything. And bleh, just going to starve out. 1 point for the Bonk. Premium Bonk, dude. I want to see it happen. Where are we at? Okay. Dude, Premium Bonk or P-Boop? Did it be Bonk? Bonk Boop. I don't know. Now I'm stretching. I think Premium Bonkage is the best 2v2 team name for Premium Bone Bonk. Speaking of 2v2, guys, let's hop into match number 9. Alright, what do we got going on here? Spawning on the right, we've got the Red Dino and Ballasted Marco. Opponents to the left, Slayer Y and Servitor. Ballasted Marco. I'm trying to unpack this. Like, my brain keeps going to Ballista. Now, is Is ballasted like the past tense of when you got ballisted upon? like, hey man, what happened? You know, medieval battlefield. What happened to Marco? Oh, you got ballisted, man. You got ballasted. I don't think that's a word. If that's a word, I'm gonna be so amazed. That can't be right. Interesting. Ballast. Okay. The past tense of ballast is ballasted. Give stability to a ship by putting a heavy substance in its bilge. The vessel has been ballasted to give the necessary floating stability. Oh, so it's kind of like rooted. Oh, okay. He's kind of saying, like, rooted Marco. Like, he's got his feet planted, man. He's ballasted. He ain't going anywhere. But look at this. He's setting up a very ballasted position here with some nice turret placement, trying to expand out, get some economy going. And meanwhile, on the other side of the board, we've got red and blue just building up a lot of tier 1 here. But I think this is going to work better for a green and yellow team, as I mean, Red Dino's been pretty conservative thus far. You know, he's not doing any kind of crazy openings. He just went 8 farm, 2 tier 1 into some skunks. And Slayer is going to go ahead and grab his own expansion. Taking a look at this map. It's weird. This area is kind of weird. Because at first glance, this looks like a nice expansion for Red Dino, right? Who's green, by the way. If you're Red Dino, you should strictly play Hopper. It only makes sense. But really, I don't think Red Dino can even access this base. This is all tied off. Yeah, I mean, this is actually a base for the red and blue team. Speaking of red and blue, they're moving in. TnT word of the week. Ballasted. That's right, man. Normally when I have to look up words, it's me having to defend myself when I say something stupid. But this time I was like kind of laughing at this guy's name. I was like, that's not a word. And then it actually is a word that none of us knew. Look, you learned something new, man. Nobody ever said, I never taught you anything, you know? That statement didn't make sense. But listen, let it slide. All right, I'm tired. I'm giving you guys an entertaining show. Work with me here. So, all right. So a lot of defense here for Ballasted Marco. Getting serious. Which I don't mind. I mean, he's fortifying this position. The problem here for green and yellow, though, is that this is it, right? Like, if Ballasted Marco is nice, he's going to give this base to Red Dino. And Red Dino is not going to give him the chance to, to take it from underneath him. They took my hopper, said Red Dino. All right, that makes sense. You are forgiven for now. And here we go, red and blue trying to attack in. I don't think it's smart, though. I mean, Red Dino's been playing really up front, you know. Kind of a pretty quick tier 3, but nothing crazy. He's got a nice standing army. Ballasted hasn't had the biggest army in the world, but it should be he should be hitting that boom, man. Like, he's been investing a lot in eco and defense. And normally I kind of, say it's bad to get defense early, but 2v2 is a bit of an exception. For a couple weird reasons, especially because so much of 2v2 comes down to map control. It's a bit more worth it in the early game to really plant your feet on the ground, plant your flag on the hill, and secure as many gristmills as you can, kind of favorably cut the map. But really this map is favorably cut for red and blue, because this base is going to be a third for red and blue, and this 12 o'clock should be a third for red and blue, and green and yellow don't have access to any thirds. So I feel like green and yellow need to try to end the game relatively soon. They still have quite some time, I mean, we're almost just barely 5 minutes in, so really they don't need to start freaking out until 8-9 minutes into the game, when they're kind of running out of time. So they got a few minutes here, but they should be thinking of an exit strategy. They should. Very nicely done here. This was a very ambitious base from blue, and Ballasted is gonna pick up a big win for his team, knock that out, and now he can even turn this into his own third base. Beautiful. Yeah, see, that's why like splitting the map is so important, because if green and yellow can kind of secure this area, now all of a sudden they've got the third bases. They can build some defense maybe up here to protect this area. And then they've kind of flipped this map on its head, right? Blue and green trying to attack in again, or blue and red rather. But this position is just impregnable here from green and yellow, man. A couple balloons on the high ground, a couple turrets, an artillery cannon coming down. Very fortified. And not to mention green and yellow's army is just pretty sick anyways, right? Like even without this defense. So I'm going to fast forward just a little bit here, guys, as I do want to try to get to all the replays tonight that I can before I die of exhaustion. Green and yellow moving in. Pretty successful push thus far, but the boar's coming out, which is actually a pretty big deal. I mean, a substantial amount of green and yellow's army is in that tier 1. This boar is getting a lot of work done. Getting some healing on the back end as well, so it's going to stay alive. Nice deflection there from red and blue. But this might be an overextension. Blue is trying to move out by himself. The owl is going to go down. That's a huge loss for red and blue there. They just really got to find, like, I feel like red and blue's big mistake this game is how they just keep trying to, like, bludgeon, like forehead first, you know, into this position. And it's just not going to happen. Like, there is no way. You know, think about it. Even armies taking an engagement in this position, green and yellow wins every time. Like, you'd have to be so far ahead with your army to attack into this much defense. Now, granted, this angle that they are coming in, oh man, wolf buffed already cannon there for a second, but this angle does kind of make this defense up here null and void, right? Like, it's really only this defense, the balloon and the turret, that were going on in that, or arty cannon rather, but still, like, an arty cannon alone is huge. And I think red and blue might have just bled off too many units from constantly trying to come in and break this position. And yellow and green have just been trading favorably all game long. Like, look at those graphs. I mean, really look at these graphs and, like, compare it to the income, right? Like, Red Dino's income was pretty rough for quite some time in the early game. But his army value is still just fine. And look at this, man. Ballast and Marco really living up to the name. Like, he's had his feet firmly planted this entire game. You know, no major mistakes out of him. Been playing very well. His early game build looked a little funny. You know, lots of defense up front, but it paid off for him. Yeah, now look at this. Green and yellow have secured these third bases for themselves up top. And now I think they might just have enough. I feel like red and blue just kind of have to tap out from here. Lots of skunk gas going down, but that's really all they've got. The skunks are going to get cleaned up. And I think that's, I think the fat lady's singing here. But we can enjoy the carnage. These red and blue are going to fight to their last breaths. Fight to their last breath. Is it still... I think it's correct to say they fought to their last breath. Right? I don't think it's correct to say they fought to their last breaths. Plural. I don't know. I'm overthinking it, you guys. Like, what happened to your battalion, Sergeant? They fought to their last breath, my lord. Like, isn't that how you'd say it? Breaths just sound weird. I don't think that's correct. Game number 10, guys. Alright, we got a bit of high-level action here. Spawning in the bottom, he is Mishi. And his opponent up top, the gentleman. Mishi rocking them toads, huh? Mishi's historically been, he's not been a believer, man. He's not been on Team Toads Magoads. but he might be coming around. We'll have to see. I think the Toads make sense. Mishi's a very cerebral player. He likes to counterpick. He's really... I feel like one of Mishi's strongest suits is really understanding the meta of the individual players that he fights. A Gentleman is very well known for his lizards, so I don't think that Toads are something that Mishi typically puts in his deck. I think Toads are a direct response to the Gentleman, where Mishi's like, you know what? I know the Gentleman. I know his playstyle. I know he's going to go for Toads. And meanwhile, the Gentleman, I think, kind of double cross Mishi, right? Where he, you know, the double bluff fake out here, where he's like, I know Mishi knows that I like to play lizards, therefore Mishi will probably build Toads, therefore I'm not going to bother with lizards. It's a TnTTV rule that Gentlemen can't win any games on the show. Didn't Gentlemen win earlier? But yeah, no. The joke is that Gentleman ladders a lot, right? And he's a top-level player, so typically when people... I mean, nobody is flawless, right? Everybody's going to lose games, even if you're the best player. If you got a 90% win rate, somebody's still beating you every now and then. So, you know, when a player does beat the Gentleman, typically they get really excited because it's like, oh, you know, I beat the Gentleman, that's so awesome, and then they submit it. So we see a lot of games where the Gentleman gets beat here on TnTTV for sure. But the Gentleman kind of balances it out because he does submit. So he'll submit some of his own wins. Ironwall Jenkins, hello, man. How's it going, buddy? Good to have you. It wasn't really a meta mind game thing like you see in the tournament. Listen, gentlemen, why don't you let me give you some credit, all right? See, he's too much of a gentleman, man. He's like, no, I really wasn't thinking that hard. I just wanted to try a new deck. Oh, man. Very humble. But yeah, see, like, the Gentleman's one of those players, too, that will submit his own losses. So it's like, you have all these submissions where the people, you know, they get their win against the Gentleman. They want everybody to see it, so they submit it. And then the Gentleman, you know, he's only going to submit wins, like, half the time. The other times, he's like, man, I lost this really cool game against Duchu, man. But, you know, it was worth people seeing. Ironball Jenkins says, I'm doing good. Just got the game yesterday. I've already sunk in 18 hours into it. Dude, I know the feeling, my man. Very fun game. Welcome to the show. You're in the right spot if you're trying to learn some strategies here. I've definitely got a ton of odds of replays and replay casting shows and things of that nature. I apologize. I'm delirious. I started a new job where I work a lot, and I'm mentally exhausted. And I think after I'm done, Best Sakia NA is going to do some of the Tooth and Tail League Season 2 Class A matches. So, nice try there from Mishi, but the Gentleman ends up taking the fight. That Gristmill tanking was pretty clutch. Gristmill tanking isn't as effective as it was, but it's one of these weird things where it's like it doesn't necessarily have to be cost effective if it gives you enough momentum to win a big fight and compound that into some damage. And it's also one of these things where it's like a big fight is happening and I just happen to have $150, you know, even if it's not going to be super valuable, even if it's only going to soak like 10-15 damage before it dies or whatever, you know, due to the new change. Is it still worth it to spend your money on the fight rather than not spend your money on the fight? You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of interesting. I think it's definitely a debatable thing. Now, Gristmill, if you're a new player, Gristmill or buildings in general used to tank a lot more effectively. So you would like imagine a big fight's about to happen here. So you build this Gristmill, and then it's going to start building, and it's going to be gaining so much HP that it's going to soak a lot of damage. Well, now if a building in production takes damage from enemy fire, it stops gaining HP. It's still being built, but it's no longer gaining HP. So, like building a structure, particularly gristmills, you know, right in the clutch of a battle, is no longer as effective as it was. All right, though. This game is kind of stabilizing. The gentleman's got a big lead, though. Mishi's economy is starting to get there, but this fight here, where the gentleman, you know, not necessarily cost effectively, you know, gristmill tanked, but hey, it was enough to confuse the II of Mishi's army. Mishi's Toad bust wasn't quite as effective as he wanted it to be. Gentleman had a nice win there. You know, came in here, knocked out this base, and that allowed Gentleman's economy to get up a bit faster than Mishi's here. Ooh, and this is where it's starting to put a bit of the salt in the wound, as Gentleman is already kind of ahead. And now little plays like this are going to allow him to just kind of poke and prod at his opponent. Death by 1,000 paper cuts. Take out a Warren here. Take out a Squirrel there. But all these lizards from Mishi, now this is a rough map for lizards. As there's so much water, it's kind of making null and void the speed advantage you get from these lizards. And plus, like, bridges are even worse to attack into, as bridges will clump up your army as they all try to take the bridge rather than go in the water. Gentleman might have enough, but with some good Toad engagements here. Nice dragging from Mishi, trying to get surface area on the Gentleman's army. The Badger's gonna go down. Does Mishi have enough? Oh my god. Oh my god, you guys. I thought for sure Gentleman would win that fight, but somehow, some way, with some great micro there, that was really well played by Mishi. He got some good connections on the Toad, and you saw he kind of dragged his commander, like held the lizards from attacking until he had some really good surface area, right? He didn't just tell the lizards to attack in here. You know, he took a little bit of damage, but he was able to kind of move in and then issue the attack command when his commander was here. And then now his lizards are kind of clumped up all over the entire army. And then boom, they all kind of pounce. So great attack there from Mishi. But Gentleman's certainly not down and out. He's had a good economy. And Gentleman, I mean, look how far ahead he was. He's even arguably still around the same spot, if not ahead, on the army graph after that big engagement. So Gentleman kind of had enough good engagements earlier on. He had an economy that was far enough ahead where he could kind of afford to take a loss, right? So that's kind of exactly what Mishi needed to get back into this game, and that was kind of the strike one for Gentleman. It was like, all right, you know, we kind of screwed up there, but we were far enough ahead where we're not dead yet. I don't know if he's gonna get a strike 2 or 3 though. Maybe just a strike 2 here, as Mishi has really bridged the gap. He's gonna move in again. He's gonna try to spread these lizards out just all on top of the Gentleman's army. Does he have enough lizards is the question. It's a lot of skunk cats here, but looks like the armies are gonna trade somewhat evenly. And Mishi's gonna get away with his tier 2. Gentleman still got his tier 2 alive as well. Oh, Mishi, what are you doing, man? He sold off a couple lizards. Okay, I was wondering if he was teching out of lizards or something. No, not gonna tech out. He's just downsizing a little bit. You know, you realize, okay, maybe I don't have the economy to support 40 lizards. Maybe I gotta go down to 30. Dude, this game, man. It's pretty clutch. I think the Gentleman needs more tier 1 here. I'm not sure. Like, these there's just too many lizards. Like, I feel like Gentleman just doesn't have enough squirrels. Gentleman might be overextending. You know, really trying to keep this harassment on, but lizards are one of those units that can kind of call your bluff. You know, they kind of counter the ferret. Like, the ferret, you know, if Mishi didn't have a lizard army, as Mishi's army moves in, you know, Gentleman can back up to his defense, back up to his warrens, keep his units alive. Like, Gentleman's kind of lucky that ferret didn't die there, for example. And, but against this lizard comp, Mishi can very easily be like, oh, you know, you want to engage? We'll engage. And it's hard for Gentleman to refuse at that point, as he's so far out with his ferrets. As you can see, again, Mishi just kind of runs in, gets some damage done, runs out there. I think Mishi might have been able to commit, but decides not to risk it for now. But I understand why the gentleman is being so zealous with these ferrets, because, man, look at this base. It's almost down. It'd be a very big pickup. This base down south is almost mined out for Mishi. I believe Gentleman's is mined out as he took his a bit faster. So these two bases from either player are hypercritical at this point. I think Lizard Falcon are a good counter in my chip deck. This isn't the chip deck, dude. This is like the anti-chip deck. You mean the fight chip deck? Mishi again with the lizards. Moving in here, but I think there might be enough. Yeah, Gentleman's getting more tier 1 here. I think that's what he needs, man. I think he just needs a few more squirrels. Like, lizards do trade well against squirrels, but they don't, like, totally run over them, you know? Oh, this is a deck that Chip's currently using. Ah, I see. That makes sense. Chip changed it up a lot. He doesn't really stick to the same thing. I really recommend that as a player. I don't typically do that. Like, if you'll watch one of my ranked streams, I'll be like, all right, guys, I'm playing this deck, and I'm gonna try to get really, really good with it. I don't think that's the way to do it in Tooth and Tail, man. It's kind of counterintuitive, but then anyone who knows, like, all right, man, Delthius is playing this deck. I can put some stuff in my deck that hard counters it. You know, you're a really powerful player when you can play a variety of styles. You know, your opponent never knows what's going to come out of you next. And that's not only just good for tournament players, it's also good for just ladder players. Because sometimes, you know, you might run into the same guy over and over in the same ladder session. You don't want to be predictable. You know, if I play against somebody on ladder and I see that they use lizards, you know, next game, for example, for sure I'm going to put toads in my deck. Next game I play against them, 100%. If I didn't already. I do use toads pretty often because toads my goats. But alright, here we go. I think Mishi might have enough this time around. Gentleman really doesn't have a whole lot left, but Mishi is being very conservative here. He doesn't want to overcommit. But Mishi's doing a good job of kind of like pouncing in on the Gentleman just in time to stop his base from going down from this ferret harassment. And Mishi also has been able to eke out a couple more farms in the Gentleman here. Does Mishi not know about this base? He does now. I think he might have just found out about it. Either that or he didn't want to move his lizards out of position, but I highly doubt it. Oh, the Gentleman finally gets that base, but I think it's too late. As Mishi's running in here with several lizards. Gentleman just doesn't have enough. He's going to tap out. Mishi takes game. Alright, you guys. Where are we at? We got 3 more. I'm going to grab another beer. I'll be right back. Okay. Can't believe it's almost been 2 hours already, guys. Time flies when you're having fun. We have a few more matches to get into for your viewing pleasure. I'm glad everybody tuned in, man. I really appreciate it. What's up, all the new people? Good to have y'all. Feel free to bug me or really most of the people in this chat anytime you want. We all love talking about the game. And if you still want more after I finish these 3 matches, Best Sakuya NA is going to go live with some tournament matches from Tooth and Tail League Season 2. So let's get into it, guys. Match number 11. Premium Bow is the moderator here, indeed. And speaking of Premium Bow, Playing as Hopper, I knew you'd finally see the light one day, P-Boop. We got Premium Bow and Kerpa. And to the bottom, Pumpkinator and Fuzzy Bungs. Fuzzy Bungs is another funny one to say. What was the other one? Like Shulzy Woolsey or something? If someone tells you I abuse my power, let me know so that I can ban them to stop their lying. That's right. I really should have more mods, but I don't specifically. Just because Premium Bow does such a good job. I like giving Premium Bow this this area to to be able to power trip a little. I think it's fun. Ooh, he didn't submit this one. Uh-oh. This is what I'm talking about, man. This toad opening. They're going for the 4-farm triple toad as again, if I could say words. But Fuzzy Bungs here scouts it immediately. Now, I don't think he saw the toads. He might, no. Yeah, he might have seen this toad. He's kind of hiding there behind the toad emblem. Where's the number for this 2v2? This is not a Premium Bow submission. I only number the Premium Bow submissions because it's super impressive that he's submitted like 55 of them or something. You know what? Okay, so Vincent and Bratmo don't watch live. I think they're European. But let me know in the next email if you do watch this, Vincent. Because Vincent just had Vincent vs. Bratmo 24 in a replay. And I wouldn't be surprised because I've seen a lot of Vincent and Bratmo games. I know that they submit pretty frequently as well. But here we go. Toesmagodes into Fuzzy Bung's base. They're going to knock out this Gristmill, but not going to immediately knock Fuzzy Bungs out of the game, as he did take a very fast expansion here. And look at it. Fuzzy, he didn't even move for like 10 seconds. He's like, what just happened? So this time around, we see the execution of the double Toesmagodes opening. But it doesn't quite knock another player out of the game, right? So Fuzzy Bunks is pretty crippled, though. And I think how crippled Fuzzy is here is probably worth the weird opening from Premium Bow and Kerpa. But Pumpkinator, I didn't even look at Pumpkinator's deck, man. He's not running any tier 1 at all besides the moles. The moles don't count because they're dirty. Yeah. Red Dino. Just a complete shock, dude. I would be too. Like, what? What just happened? How many toads was that? All right. I like these mines from Pumpkinator too. Like, you can tell Pumpkinator and Fuzzy aren't like tryhards. Like Premium Bow and Kerpa. Oh, these mines are not gonna go off effectively. Trading 5 mines for 3 lizards there. Making Premium Bow's heart skip a beat though. But you know, Premium Bow and Kerpa, they're bros, man. They're probably in Discord delirious at 2 in the morning or something playing this. Poor Pumpkinator and Fuzzy Bungs. I'm gonna guess are probably not as coordinated here as Premium Kerpa are. This opening for Pumpkinator just kind of made me chuckle, where Fuzzy Bungs just kind of got wrecked. And you know, Pumpkinator could have put these mines like up here, you know, and defended his buddy. And speaking of Fuzzy Bungs, he gets knocked out of this game, sent to the kitchens. And I don't think Pumpkinator is going to be long for the world. Because Pumpkinator is kind of doing some trolly stuff here. He's trying to build a bunch of mines to get up to a lot of falcons. Which is a silly thing to do, but falcons aren't really... Like, really, I guess if you're going to do that with a tier 2, you'd have to do that with Chameleon or, like, ferrets if you wanted to be super amazing. That's my homework, you guys. If somebody submits me a replay where they open with, like, 10 ferrets, I would be so happy. But yeah, Falcon, like, on paper, you might think, you know, obviously it's trolly regardless, right? He's just having fun. But you might think, like, Falcons would be good for that, but Falcons are really dependent on having a good front line, even if you have, like, 10 of them. You know, like, a comparable amount of squirrels, so, you know, I guess if you count Warrens, like 15 to 20 squirrels would probably do it. All right, where are we at, guys? We got a free-for-all here. Let's get into it. Okay, spawning in the bottom, we've got Beef Pile and Red Dino, again, who is not red. And up top, pretty spread out. Oh, no, wait, no. What am I talking about? This is a free-for-all. Oh, my God, you guys. Well, anyway, still introducing players here. We got Red Dino spawned right next to Beef Pile. This is just mean. Somebody should report this. Be like, Andy, come on, man. I know I said don't bug Andy, but Andy, come on, man. This is absurd. This isn't the worst I've seen, though. Wait, I didn't even finish introducing the players. We've got a quite below average Democ. I keep thinking Demon King, but it can't be Demon King. Demo King. Let's call him the Demo King, you guys. And up here, Quang Duo, 47. But yeah, look at this, man. This is just... I can't remember if it was a 2v2 or a free-for-all. But we had it one time where the pigs were attacking each other. Like, on the main bases. Did Dino not scout green? Yeah, it looked like at the beginning they had not actually scouted each other. I wish I could rewind. I was too busy making the mistake of thinking this is a 2v2. Because look at this. I mean, come on. You can't even be mad at me for that one, dude. Like, this looks like a 2v2. This is not a 2v2, you guys. It's a free-for-all. And Red Dino is all over Beef Pile here. He's going to turn Beef Pile into a literal pile of beef and proceed to eat him, as that is what this game is about. Slaying and eating your opponents. That's going to be it for Beef Pile. He's got some money, though. Maybe Beef Pile can set up shop over here, try to keep the flies away for now, and focus on not rotting. Alright, that was 2 Beef Pile jokes. At least 5 out of 7, you guys. Come on. Red Dino's on top of it, though. He could smell... you could smell Beef Pile from a mile away. Okay, 3. Pretty sure it's demo night. It might be. I didn't play TF2, man. I know that's heresy to say, but you can't play all the games. I always heard it was amazing. I just never got to it. I did play a couple matches of it, but I never really got super into it. All right. Red Dino decides leave the beef alone for the time being, I suppose. Meanwhile, let's take a look at what Red and Blue are up to. I don't think they've really done anything quite yet in terms of engagement, which is really where you want to be in free-for-all. As I say that, quite below average Demo comes in here. Time to crucify Delthius, right? But yeah, like right as I say, I've never played TF2 really hard. Everybody just leaves the stream. I've never played, like, I never was that big into shooters, to be honest. Now, Red overextended there a little bit. He got some damage done, but overstayed his welcome. He did take out the second base. He did kill quite a few warrants. But Quang Duo has got the boar on the way. I want Beef Pile to make a God tier comeback. Dude, that would be amazing, Gaming. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I've never been really that into shooters. I say that, but I grew up on Halo. Like, because I think Halo came out in, like, 2000. I was 11, right, in 2000. And being 11 is the perfect time for Xbox to launch with Halo, right? I mean, I had like a million parties, slumber parties with your friends where like we would have 2 rooms set up where 4 of us would be on one Xbox, 4 would be on the other. We do like the system link. Oh man, I was super into the original Halo with all my buddies when I was a wee lad. Those were the days, man. Like circa like early 2000s when Xbox just launched. We were playing Halo. I was playing like Final Fantasy games, a lot of Brood War. But really, I never, like, when I switched over to PC gaming, I just never really got into shooters. I was always more of an RTS guy. I enjoy shooters. I'll play them from time to time. Like, I played Halo 2. I was really into Halo 1. Like, I got pretty good because I used, alright, I'm dating myself here, but there might be some people in the crowd that can relate. But there was this program, XP Connect, right? And it was before Xbox Live came out on the original Xbox. And what it would do is it would trick the Xbox into thinking that your modem, your Ethernet cable, was a system link cable, and you'd be able to play online against other people in system link mode. So I would sit there and just get really good at the original Halo game. You know, like really using the pistols. There was that old, you could just triple shot somebody in the head with a pistol, obviously, and kill them, or you could do the plasma pistol combo. And then I go over to my friends' houses and just be like way better than everybody else. Because I was a tryhard, and I needed that validation that I was the best gamer amongst my friends. Oh, yeah. Best Sakio knows what's up. Yeah, Best Sakio is about my age, I think. We're both like late 20s, early 30s. But yeah, man, we used to play Brood War. We used to play Halo. I'd play the Final Fantasy games a lot. Those were the days, man. It's funny, you never have what you want, man. If you're a kid, you're probably waiting to become an adult, but trust me, when you're an adult, you're gonna wish for the days when you were a kid. But so far, you know what? Tip of the hat to Red Dino here. He did let Beef Pile get set up again. Maybe get some saran wrap over himself there. Get some refrigeration going on. Get it back together. And Red and Blue have just kind of been slap fighting here. I think Red's kind of been getting some damage done, but throwing away a bit too much of his army, and he never really invested in his second base, and now he's starving. Oh, Thief, dude. Okay, listen, my claim to fame. All right, original Splinter Cell guys, games, right? Like, obviously, the first Splinter Cell, but the second Splinter Cell, Pandora Tomorrow, on Xbox Live, me and my buddy Chafe, I still don't really know. We were number 1 and number 2 in the world on the Pandora Tomorrow ladder. I know that it sounds more impressive than it is. I mean, it wasn't like a super big game, but it still had enough people, right? It was still an impressive feat. No, screw you, I'll stand by that. We were number 1 and 2 in the world, man. We were the best at Pandora Tomorrow. Pandora Tomorrow was some of the most fun online game I've ever played in my life. Like, basically, like, it was 2v2. One team were the spies, where you didn't have lethal weapons, but you had that, like, third-person view, and you're kind of ninja, and you're trying to hack these computers. Then the other team were mercenaries, and they had, like, assault rifles and frag grenades and stuff. So it was spies versus mercenaries, where the spies were, like, ninjas. You had to sneak up on them and break their neck and stuff. And the mercs were just trying to defend. And dude, it was like so well done, so impressive for its time. I think Chaos Theory kind of ruined it, the third Splinter Cell game, but the second Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow game was so good. I played a bit of Splinter Cell 3 multi. Yeah, Chaos Theory. Yeah, Splinter Cell 3 Chaos Theory's multiplayer. It was the similar concept, but it was still good. But Pandora Tomorrow really is where they where they nailed it, man. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, look up some videos of Pandora Tomorrow multiplayer or something. You might even see me and my buddy Chafe, man, as we were indeed the best. It was really weird playing with him though. Like, he'd play like Britney Spears and stuff on his voice chat just to troll. It was hilarious. Like, somebody would come into our lobby and just hear like Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears and stuff. It was good times. Like, and I couldn't complain. Like, I'd be like, dude, stop. Like, I'm trying to concentrate here. And you want to get mad at him, but he's wrecking face. He's like best player in the world. So it's like, all right, I guess I'll deal with listening to Britney Spears as I be on the top of the ladder of this game. People are asking why Green is in this game still. Red gets knocked out. Yeah, I think the chat is correct. I think Red Diamond was just a nice guy. Was leaving the Beef Pile alone for a little bit. Beef Pile has been able to recuperate, build up a lot of tier 1 here, trying to get into some Falcon Skunk, and now trying to add the Wolf on as the icing on the cake. He doesn't roll 50 toads into people's gristmills. Dude, that's what you need to do, man. Toads McGoads. Hashtag. Fun and interesting TNT commentary. I'm kidding, Delthius. I'm enjoying this. See, I'm I'm so like optimistic and well assuming, I guess. There's a better word for that. I didn't even see that was sarcastic. He's like, fun and interesting TNT commentary. I read that as, oh man, hey, good job, I'm enjoying this, not like sarcastic. So the follow-up comment wasn't even necessary. Yeah, no, I do apologize. I really haven't been saying a lot about this game. But, you know, I mean, yellow and green, yellow wrecked on green in the early game, right? And then green went over here, and yellow was like, all right, I'll let you do it. And red and blue kind of slap fought each other until blue actually, you know, really, you know, held off the attack well and ended up having enough, especially Red Dino coming in to help out, knock red out of the game. You don't have to be sorry, man. I'm so surprised you guys aren't, like, meaner to me. Like, I've done... Excuse me, guys. Like, I don't think I've ever had somebody, like, legitimately flame me in chat. Like, legitimately be mean. I've had people troll and stuff, or maybe Premium Bo's just too good of a mod and deletes it before I see it, but which is super impressive and says a lot about this community, because, I mean, you're random strangers on the internet, right? Like, you're supposed to be mean, and nobody is. It's weird. Like, I was thinking about it the other day, I was like, dude, still, nobody has just come into my chat and just been very rude to me. That's not a challenge, but I think that's really says a lot about the quality of our community here. You know what? Is Beef Pile gonna win this game? Blue is kind of get pincered attacked here. He's not gonna die, but he's gonna lose a lot of stuff. Do you need help? That's bad cough. Dude, I was sick for like 3 weeks to a month. I'm still just getting over the last of it. It wasn't just me, though. It's kind of going around. I've talked to a lot of people lately. Blue gets knocked out, so B-File is at the very least going to come in second place. But no, I know a lot of other people that actually got this prolonged sickness and around my area. But I went to the doctor not too long ago for that and just for various other reasons. You know, it's good to go to the doctor at least every couple of years, I feel like, just to come in and say hi. But I'm good. They gave me some antibiotics. I had a chest x-ray. I'm fine, so. I was like really impressed by the chest x-ray, to be honest. Like, I thought that was gonna be this big deal. Like, dude, I like walked in a hospital. I was in and out in 5 minutes. It was really weird. And my insurance covered it. American healthcare is really weird. Like, I'm thankful that I have a good job where, like, my insurance actually covers things. Like, if you don't have insurance in America, you're just screwed. Like, just don't get sick or else... I mean, we literally have a show where somebody resorts to cooking meth to be able to afford his medical bills, right? That's not my joke, obviously. It's a meme on the internet. But Breaking Bad, phenomenal show. I mean, that's true, man. American healthcare system. Don't listen to me. I'm not going to get all political. That's like one of the big no-nos on Twitch, so I'm not going to rant too hard about it. But I don't think it's a very political issue. I think everybody agrees that our healthcare system is crazy. Like, it's great if you have good insurance. Like, I have good insurance, so I'm fine. I can go get stuff done and, you know, barely have a bill. But if you don't, you're just donezo. Hey, thanks for the follow, Protocam. Oh, wait. Pasakio with the sub. Dude, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Hello, doctor. I'm here to say hi. Protocam, how have you, like, not followed me? I don't want to call you out. I guess that's a rude thing to say. I've seen you in the chat, like, so often. Do you guys just hang out and chat and watch it and not follow? I don't know. Our mental health care system is a non-existent joke. Yeah, luckily I haven't had to deal with that, but I have heard horror stories. And it looks like Red Dino is going to eventually get this taken care of. maybe. Yeah. Pretty crazy game. I like, it's cool that Red Dino ended up winning anyways. Because he did kind of let the beef pile slide for a little while. Okay. Okay. I demand more Delthius puke noises. Dude, people like my puke noises. I gotta bring him back when the owls happen, man. Best Saki with the sub, man. I appreciate it. I'll have to return the favor. I know you're working hard for that TNT content, too. If you are watching and listening, Best Sakio, you should go ahead and boot up your stream, man. So I can give you that big follow when I get done here. So, alright. Mishra is like, no, don't boot up the stream. Pay attention. It's my game. We're saving the best for last, you guys. Match number 13. Let's get into it. I went over 2 hours and I didn't even notice. I'm having so much fun with you guys. Alright, cool. Best Saki is going to boot up. So right when I get done, man, let's shift over to Best Sakura. I think he's got the Class A matches of the Tooth and Tail League Season 2. Replays of that. So that's going to be awesome. So if you're hungry for more Tooth and Tail content, his show is a little less silly than mine. Like, people are actually, like, really trying hard on his show. Now, granted, sometimes people try hard on mine, but a lot of times it's people screwing around. So, anyways, guys, match number 13. Yeah, I got to see some sneak peeks of, Best Akio has been doing a lot of good overlay work lately on his channel. So looking forward to that. But anyways, guys, spawning at the bottom, we've got Amistria. If I wasn't so tired, man, I'd offer to hop on and cast with you. Up top, we've got Marlon Mukau. To be honest, guys, after this game, I am probably going to fall asleep. I got to get up super early, work a really long day tomorrow. Alright, let's see what's going on here. Amistria still got that barbed wire. I love to see it, man. And this map is actually pretty decent for it. With barbed wire, it can be really tempting to build a whole bunch, but I feel like less is more. I mean, imagine if you know, get a couple pieces up here, right? You know, maybe 1 or 2 pieces here. Really, like 1 piece is all you would need to secure that off. But that's such a weird entry. I don't think you really need it. Owl noises, healthcare, video games for the early 2000s. What more could you want? Karaoke? I think you did spell karaoke right. I think that's correct. Hey, thanks for the follow, Ironwall Jenkins. I appreciate it, man. I apologize, I'm delirious. See, there's multiple types of Delthius casting. You guys kind of got delirious Delthius tonight. There's delirious Delthius when I'm too tired or maybe a little too drunk. But that never happens, you guys. I'm super responsible. And then you got, like, serious Delthius, which is when I'm energetic and I'm actually trying to be a good analyst. You know, delirious Delthius will zone out and start talking about how he was the best at Splinter Cell. But nothing crazy this game yet. 8 farm opening into 3 tier 1. 3 tier 1 is, I mean, it's weird. Like, typically the standard is, I don't know if that's even really true to state, but normally what I expect to see is like 8 farm, 2 tier 1 into a tier 2. Now 3, maybe 4 tier 1 into tier 2 is still acceptable, but I think after you've gone from 3 to 4 into like 4 to 5 or 6, now you're really committing to this tier 1 play, and you need to be careful because if your opponent has hard counters like toads to the lizards or skunks to the squirrels, you could be in a difficult spot. But Amistria, with the campfire pickup here, that's going to be nice. And Marlon Scout it. Hasn't yet. Wants to, but not in position for this engagement. That means Amistria is going to get the upper hand here in the target fire. Now the pigs are helping out here. So in the end, with the defender's advantage there, Marlon takes that engagement. He's going to try to counter move out here. Delirious. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Delirious, Delthius. They both start with D-E-L and S. You know what else starts with D-E-L and ends with S? Delicious. I'm just saying. What else? Dates? No, Dates doesn't start with DEL. I really think it's Delirious, Delthius, and Delicious, right? Delirious, Delicious, Delthius? Are there any other English words that start with DEL and end with S? I'm not so sure. Okay, okay. So overall, Mishra tried to come in. Took an okay trade, but Marlon ended up getting the upper hand on that due to the defender's advantage. Marlon tried to move in for the counter push. It was deflected off by Mishra. Now we're going to stabilize into a bit of a regular game. Mishra here going for this fast owl. I love this owl placement as well. Very sneaky. It's going to be hard for Marlon to get in there and scout that out. Marlon's going to try to deny this base, but this is the exact engagement that these lizards want. 15 lizards versus 15 squirrels. I don't think the pigeons are going to matter too much in this engagement. This is exactly what the lizard player is looking for. Trying to catch those squirrels out in the open. The lizards should trade more effectively. As we saw there, they did indeed do just that. And I think the big story of this game is this campfire, to be honest. I mean, that campfire giving Amisria this economic advantage that she's enjoyed for almost 2 solid minutes now. That campfire is going to start mattering less and less as we progress into the 2-base phase. But still, during this like 1-base phase into early 2-base play, I feel like that campfire is very important. And Mishra going for this pig snipe. Is she going to commit? No, she's going to try to get out of there. Bleeds off a lot of units there, but does end up getting the pig. So, you know, it is worth it, I guess. But Marlon's going to have an opportunity for that counter aggression. Look at this barbed wire, though. That's what I'm talking about, man. Even the bar, like, not to be super nitpicky, but I don't even think this barbed wire on the high ground is necessary. I think just those 2 pieces right there. I mean, that's beautiful. Like, now what's Marlon going to do? He's going to have to swing his entire army around this way if he wants to push in and not be on this barbed wire. And then he's going to have to walk through this water here. Yeah, even throwing down a couple more pieces of barbed wire there. I love it. You know, just really 3 to 4, you know, even 5 pieces of barbed wire. It seals off this map in a very advantageous way for Amisria. Now, granted, Amisria did get the map RNG favor here, as she's got 4 grist mills pretty cozily on her side of the map, while Marlon's only got those 2. Marlon also did get this campfire, but Amisria stole it from him. That really was Marlon's campfire, and Amisria took that on really early on in the game. It was good play by Amisria, but it's also a bit of a misplay from Marlon, as Marlon never scouted the entire map and hasn't even discovered that campfire, let alone realize that Amisria has taken it. And I feel like the lizard player can be a bit more greedy with doing things like taking out of position campfires, as they're so mobile, right? Like, even if Marlon did scout this and went over to take it out with his squirrels, then Amisria can move up, you know, swing in and attack. But if the falcons would be good, like Marlon could move in with just 1 or 2 falcons and knock this out, right? But the owl's here for Amisria, and really, so you look at this map, especially if you're a new player, and you might just be like, well, what's Marlon supposed to do? It's so, you know, OP, this map is so unbalanced for Amisria, and you're absolutely right. I'm not going to pretend. Delightfulness, oh, Shady Noodle Merchant. I love it. Oh, man. So, delicious, delirious, delightfulness, Delthius. These are all good adjectives. Okay, what was I saying? But yeah, so you look at this map as a new player, okay, and you're in Marlon's shoes, and you're like, what am I supposed to do? This map is OP for my opponent. And you're right, it is, but that's kind of how RNG goes. And this isn't an unwinnable situation. You need to adjust your strategy on the fly. I've seen a billion games. I'm exaggerating slightly, but you know, where the guy who's got the lesser map position wins. I mean, there's a lot of ways if you're Marlon you deal with this game. You go for a 1-base timing attack. You go for a 2-base timing attack, or a 2-base all-in. You know, you try to take advantage of a window When it's like Amisria feels safe and maybe, you know, fully commits on this third base and really saturates up, and then you attack in because she's got no army compared to what you have. You swing in from multiple angles. Hell, you can, even if you're Marlin, you can steal this base. You can throw down some turrets and start poking with falcons. I mean, there are ways to solve the puzzle. And I feel like that's what makes TNT feel so fresh. And every now and then it happens, man. Like, I'll have an unfavorable match, and, you know, sometimes you win, and it feels great, where you're like, yeah, you know, but sometimes you lose on it, and it's fine. And just think about how it feels. It's such a weird thing to say, but think about how good it feels for your opponent. Like, every now and then I'll get a really unfavored map for me, and I'm playing against maybe I don't sound mean, but like you know, traditionally like a lesser player, somebody I should be expected to win against, and they take the win, and it's kind of sort of because of the map balance, but kind of sort of because I didn't adjust fast enough and deal with it. You know, it's like, you know what, they're probably really excited that they beat me, you know, so who cares? It's just a game. But I think it balances out enough. I think most maps are fairly even. I feel like if you have an easy second base, then you're in kind of a good spot, but really, I guess why I'm ranting about this is because Marlin is making a key mistake here where he didn't, like, go for it, right? Like, Amisria doesn't have to do anything. Amisria can just sit back and macro up and build a bunch of owls, you know, build more barbed wire, try to come in here. Like, look at this engagement. She doesn't have to be cost efficient. This is a really cool play for Marlin, though, getting all these falcons, as they're going to do really well against the barbed wire and the owl composition of her opponent. And now that Amisria was too ambitious with those lizards on that engagement, now Marlin's got a great opportunity to come in here and attack. And just these few pigeons that he's got mixed in here might be enough with some good target fire to deal with these lizards, but everything's so clumped up here. Marlin really, really needed to target fire down all these lizards to be able to take this fight. Just use Hydraling Army. Easy win, right? Man, what are you talking about? Let's use a Mortal Zealot Archon Army. Easy win. No, I'm not a salty Zerg player that loses to Protoss, okay? But yeah, this is really cool. Like, Marlin really read this composition correctly. And, you know, I think he needs more squirrels, but again, it's like, what are you supposed to do? You don't have, you know, the barbed wire is a big issue here. But Marlin probably could have, I feel like all the falcons was really neat, but I think he might have been a bit too afraid of the barbed wire here. I feel like he could have had a more traditional army with like a lot of falcons, but still have some squirrels on the ground, because kind of as we saw in a previous match, like, you can't really just have falcons. Now, Marlin might have actually been able to win the game there if he could have successfully targeted down all those lizards, but it was really hard because the owls are in the way and the mice and the lizards are mixing up and stuff. It's hard to see them. Just mass Void Ray Carrier. How dare you come into my chat and talk about Void Ray Carrier, okay? No other race says something like the Carrier. It's ridiculous. Nah, I'm just kidding. I've been doing really well against Protoss lately. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, guys, that was a lot of fun, but that is gonna be the end of the stream. Where is Besakia? Is he not streaming? Oh, here he goes. All right, guys, listen. I'm a toss man. Premium ban that guy. No, man. We're raiding. I think we should raid, right? Instead of host. Isn't that the better thing to do? Let's raid Besakia and A. And what should we say? Should we say bonkage? Should we say premium bonkage? We should say something. We should be coordinated. What do you guys want to say? I don't know. Am I a loser? Alright, who is our healer? Dude, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say premium bonkage. You guys do what you want. Let's do it. See you guys. I'll see y'all on Thursday night. Take care, everybody. Premium package, only $99 a month. That's it, guys. Okay. Okay, listen. Everybody copy that and just paste it into his chat. Premium. Yeah, there you go. You guys see what's up. All right. Here we go, guys. Let's go say hi to Besaki Ede. I'll see you guys on Thursday night for another episode. Don't forget to submit replays to ToothAndTailTV at gmail.com. Take care, everybody. Have a good night and enjoy the Tooth and Tail Season 2 League that Besaki is about to give you. I'm still here. This is awkward. I don't think I should stop the stream yet, right? I gotta wait until the raid. Look, we got 19 raiders. There's 21 of you. No, one of you quit? How dare you? This is what we're saying, guys. You gotta do it. That's the joke. Get in on the joke, you guys. Blech.